If you think stuffing is just a side dish, think again. This sausage stuffing is so good, it might just steal the whole show at your holiday table. Hi, you're with Wendy and Shannon,
your favorite mother-daughter duo.
We're talking golden bread cubes, savory sausage, buttery herbs, and a crispy top that's impossible to resist. Now let's get started. Let's start by prepping for the base of the stuffing. I'm taking 1 loaf of a day-old bread, and we're using a rye bread here. So we're first going to cut it down into slices, and you want to keep the slices a little bit on the thicker side, and then we're going to cut the slices into strips before we cube it. Now you could either tear this up into pieces or cut it up into cubes like I'm doing, and we're looking to get about 8 cups of bread cubes. Instead of rye bread, a good alternative would also be sourdough bread, baguette, or a combination of all three. Now we're going to take all these bread cubes that we have and we're going to place them on 2 baking sheets, and we're going to put them into a preheated oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius, and we are going to allow them to dry up for about 20 to 25 minutes in the oven. Now what we want here is dry and not browned. And now that they've dried up, we're going to allow them to cool while we move on to the sausage. Next, in a heated skillet, we're going to drizzle on a little olive oil, and we're going to cook 6 sausages with the casing removed. Now the easiest way that I find to take out the casing is to take a kitchen scissor and just cut it down and then remove the inside filling. And we're going to do this for all the 6 sausages. Now we're going to break down the sausage meat and we're going to allow it to cook and brown so that we get out all that delicious flavor. Now we're going to scoop out the cooked meat and put it in a bowl to cool, and while doing this, we're going to leave the rendered fat back in the pan. We want to use that fat. It's pure flavor. Now while the sausages are cooling, let's prep the celery. Now we're going to take 3 stalks of the celery and we're going to slice it down fine. Now we're going to set that aside in a bowl and get to the herbs. This is going to add to the aromatics of our stuffing. We're going to be using 5 sage leaves for the stuffing, and we're going to keep them aside to be used later. For the rosemary, we're going to take about 3 stalks of the rosemary, take off the needles, and we're going to chop it and cross-chop it till it turns fine. We're looking to use about a teaspoon of rosemary. For the thyme, we're going to take off the leaves, and once again, we're going to chop it and cross-chop it, and we're also looking for about a teaspoon of the thyme. Now that we have our herbs all ready, let's head on back to the stove. To the heated skillet, we're going to add half a cup, which is 1 stick of butter. Now we're going to toss in those 5 sage leaves that we were talking about earlier, and we're going to allow them to fry and crisp up. They're going to infuse the butter with their flavor. And once they're nice and crispy and fried, we're going to take them out and place them into a bowl to be used later. Now into the butter, we're going to toss 1 medium-sized onion, which is finely diced. And we're also going to add those 3 sliced celery sticks. And we're going to saute them till they turn translucent. Now it's time to toss in 3 garlic cloves which have been finely diced. And we're going to toss in 1/4 teaspoon of fennel along with the finely chopped rosemary and thyme. Now we're going to saute all this together till they lose their raw flavor and the onion and the celery has turned tender. Now we're going to take all this deliciousness and add it to the sausage meat and give it a toss so that it gets well combined. Now we're going to keep this aside to cool while we whip up 2 eggs in a bowl, and to that we're going to add about 2 1/4 cups of chicken stock, and I'm using the low sodium chicken stock here. Now let's season that with salt and finely cracked black pepper. The good part of using a low sodium chicken stock is that you can always adjust the salt to your taste. Let's whisk that up again and leave it aside. Now it's time to grab the biggest bowl that you have in your kitchen and combine it all together. So we're first going to add the cool bread cubes, then we're going to add the sausage meat with all the veggies and the herbs. And for a bit of freshness, we're going to toss in about 1/4 cup of finely chopped parsley leaves. Let's toss it all together and make sure that it's all well combined because we want all that flavor to marry. Now it's time to pour on the liquid ingredients and give it 1 more toss. This time you want to be gentle. You want to make sure that all the bread cubes have absorbed that liquid ingredient and that there are no dry bread cubes in the mix. You can always add in a little bit more of the chicken stock if you feel that it's too dry. Now it's time to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and take a 9x13 baking dish, and with a pastry brush, we're going to slather on a good layer of butter on it. This is going to ensure that the stuffing does not stick to the baking dish. Now we're going to take that stuffing that we have put together and we're going to toss it into the baking dish. And once it's all spread out in the baking dish, it's time to cover it up with an aluminum foil and place it in the preheated oven, and we're going to bake it for about 50 minutes. Now it's time to remove the foil, and we're going to pour on 1/4 cup of melted butter on the top, and this is going to give us that lovely crispy crunchy bread cubes on the top. Now back into the oven it goes at the same temperature, but this time uncovered, and we're going to continue to bake it for about 15 to 20 minutes till you find that the top has got a lovely golden brown color. Now that our stuffing is all ready to be served, let's dress it up with those crispy fried sage leaves that we had prepped earlier. Oh my goodness! Look at that! Now let's scoop it up, and I'm sure you cannot wait to give this a taste. And now it's time for us to give the stuffing or dressing, whichever you call it, a taste. But before we do that, if you're new to our channel or haven't subscribed already, but enjoy trying out recipes that turn out right every time, you know you're at the right place. So go ahead, press that subscribe button, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you are the first one to get notified every time we upload a new video.
And while you're at it, go ahead and follow us on all the social medias as well. Everything is in the description box below.
Okay, now let's give the stuffing a taste. Wow.
Ooh la la. I'm so excited.
I love these crispy bits of the bread and the sausage. Oh my God, and it's so well flavored. The aroma in the kitchen right now, it's amazing. Wow, cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, I really enjoyed the crunch of the bread and all those lovely flavors from the herbs that we've put into it. It's amazing.
Honestly, move the turkey aside and pass me more of this stuffing. You're gonna wanna try this recipe out. So for the full written recipe, head on over to our website withwendyandShannon.com. Thanks for watching. We'll
See you in the next one.